Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name's Rich Tehrani, coming to you from Interrupt New York 2010, the Jacob Javits Center. On our program today is Bob DeMoulin. He is the Director of Marketing at FaceVsion. Hello, Bob.
Rich, thanks. Glad to be here.
Love to have you on the program. You brought us a prop here that we can talk about, right? What's that?
Now this here is a high-definition video conferencing camera from FaceVsion. And it's kind of a one-of-a-kind product because it actually, people look at it and say, well, Bob, that's a webcam. Well, yeah, it looks like a webcam, but in reality, it's a high-definition video camera for video conferencing. Now, this particular one is our TouchCam N1, which is our best-selling product. It is a Skype HD certified video camera, so it can actually deliver full 720p video over the internet with a 1.2 megabit per second, internet connection in Skype. So what that means is instead of seeing a typical webcam video conference where you got, someone's head and shoulders only, you're actually able to get almost the entire room with this camera because it's got a very wide angle lens. It's got a 78-degree field of view lens. Also has these dual built-in microphones, which allows you to sit back almost 6 feet away from the camera and have crystal clear audio quality on the call. So it works with Skype. It attaches very easily to a laptop, to a desktop, even the back of a television, and delivers a video conferencing experience that's far better than anything else that you can buy. And oh, by the way, it only costs about $100. So it's a fantastic camera for having really meaningful video, calls, video conferencing.
And because you've got a strong processor built into the camera itself, you're able to have a less powerful processor on the host computer, right?
Right. Now, Rich, that's actually the secret sauce. So inside this camera, we have an H.264 video encoder chip. So we capture the video and the audio. We encode it in the camera. We don't rely on the system CPU at all to encode the video and the audio. And that allows us to let it go through a smaller internet pipe, like I said, a 1.2 megabit up and down pipe. It also relinquishes your system of having to do the video encoding. So instead of having a system CPU utilization of 45 or 50% as you would with a competitor's HD web camera, this thing can do it with about a 12 to 15% tax on your CPU. So we're not really taxing the system. What does that translate into? While you're having a video call, you can still be doing work.
And a minor point, or maybe it's a minor point, but it could be a bigger deal depending on how much conferencing a person's doing. But because you're doing a large amount of compression within the camera and then sending that data stream to the PC, the USB bus is not being taxed as much as well, correct?
Oh, the high-speed USB 2 bus is, has got so much bandwidth, this thing isn't even touching that. So, I mean, we're not really taxing the system CPU, we're not taxing the USB bus. So
you could be doing massive backups to a USB drive and other things like that within your home.
Oh, sure.
While simultaneously doing a video conference because you have an adjunct processor kind of offloading some of the tasks.
That's right. And we have other solutions. I mean, this is our TouchCam N1, but we have another product called the FB Express Combo that actually uses one of those little express cards that slides into your laptop, and even a smaller camera, one that's more appropriate even for traveling. That thing can actually get away with only an 800 kilobit per second internet pipe to deliver a 720p 30 frame per second video conference. Also, it can get...
So that's a smaller pipe. Why is it a smaller, that it can use have a smaller pipe?
Well, the adaptive H.264 encoder in that express card actually gives bigger compression than we can do in the encoder chip that's built inside this camera.
Is that because it's hardwired in, it doesn't go over USB and it plugs right in?
It's not that. It's just the nature of that particular encoder is stronger. It's a beefier encoder. But that system, you can get away with an Intel Atom CPU and an 800 kilobit per second pipe and still have a 720p full motion video.
So that could be a netbook.
That could be a netbook if you happen to have a
netbook
with a slot. Right, card slot.
Or an older laptop, I guess.
Or an older laptop that just didn't have a very beefy, CPU. So that allows you to leverage some of the older equipment that might be, in your pool, or allow you to get by with buying just a very minimal system. If all you need to do is
not your swimming pool.
Not your swimming pool, but in
your pool of products.
Equipment.
Well, I think it's kind of cool because I know even within my family, we're at that point where many of my family members have older computers that I'm trying to convince them to retire.
Right.
Not because I don't want to go over their house and constantly fix their older computers that are having problems because, antivirus and all the other stuff and the things just not designed, but yeah, you need to upgrade every few years. Those older computers can now be put to use.
They can be given new life, basically, a new lease on life.
They become HD video conferencing units, they could become baby monitors, things like that.
Right. But think about the reason why video conferencing is becoming more popular right now. As we all know, the economy is still not doing great. Travel budgets are still tight.
You have to remind me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's a situation where if you can actually have a meaningful video conference call, not your typical head and shoulders webcam call, but actually see what the person is saying, understand what they're saying to you. You can actually have a meaningful video call and not necessarily have to travel. I mean, yeah, sure, there are those times when you got to do the face-to-face, but sometimes you can get away with doing these video calls, save money on travel for the really important ones when you're going to go close the deal.
Now, how do you stack up against, I mean, you've got a wide range of competition, right? You start at the high end, a $300,000 room from a Cisco.
Sure.
You come all the way down to the Logitechs and the Microsofts and some of the other Tandbergs and Ciscos and the lower end of the line.
Yeah, we don't pretend to compete with the Tandbergs and the Cisco telepresence of the world, because that's not our market. Those are conference room solutions. We have solutions that can work in a conference room. You can actually set this camera on a conference table and be able to capture the whole room, but you don't have some of the features like being able to share desktops and documents within the system.
Right.
It's really more of a video call. Now, I will say that the system these cameras work great in WebEx. Okay, you can actually have a very, WebEx, of course, is the online collaboration tool.
Sure.
That's very low cost.
Sure.
But also does video, so you can actually have very good video calls and also have the document sharing. But we also don't really compete with the low end of like the Microsoft and the Logitech and those brands of cameras, which are really more web cameras. They don't have the H.264 encoders built in. They don't have the built-in mics. They don't have the wide-angle lenses. What we've done is we've carved ourselves a really unique niche of fitting kind of between.
Sure.
So we're above the webcam, but we're below that conference room level.
You might say a personal telepresence kind of?
Almost like a personal telepresence, because you're getting such a wide-angle view, and the color quality and the autofocus quality of the camera is fantastic. If you can stop by the booth, or if you haven't already, and see what we're doing over there, we have these big 46-inch TVs, and we're conferencing with Taiwan, and you're getting just crystal clear video, 720p video, crystal clear audio.
So maybe I should get one of these to review it as well. We should talk about that.
Yeah, actually, we're glad to see one to you and see if you want to take a peek. They're fantastic cameras, and again, for about $100. Now, here at Interop, we just introduced two brand new cameras, the TouchCam L2 and the TouchCam E1, which are kind of the bigger brothers of these ones that actually do up to 1080p conferencing over the internet.
Wow.
But none of them cost over $150.
Really?
Yeah, so they're low priced. They're not, again, we're not trying to be a $49 Microsoft webcam. We're not trying to be a $5,000 Tandberg system.
To use your terminology, do they have beefier H.264 encoders as well?
They do have beefier H.264
And they're built into the camera?
They're built into the camera.
They're bigger than that, or?
Same size, actually.
Really?
Yeah, the new E1 is actually the same style as this. It's got the dual built-in microphones. The lens is not quite as wide as this one, but it's got a beautiful black carbon fiber looking finish to it. It's actually a beautiful camera.
So it goes real fast?
It goes real fast, takes real big pictures, and it's only $129.
That's awesome. And now for travel, there's a case. You just drop that in if you do want to take that on the road with you?
It ships with a little bag that you can drop it in. As you can see, it's got this kind of unique dual hinge system.
I see that.
So it can actually adapt to a wide variety, whether you want it in the back of a TV, the back of a laptop, or over like a bigger LCD monitor.
But an iPad?
An iPad, I don't think they have USB. They don't have USB connections.
They have some sort of, I haven't played with it, but I think they do have a USB connection with their own camera.
I wouldn't be too surprised being Apple. But actually, when you take it off, you can just simply fold it up. It'll pop into the bag. We have other cameras that are more compact, that have sliding lens covers that are a little more appropriate for travel, per se. But still, these cameras travel quite well.
Excellent. Well, really appreciate you being on the program today. This was great, and good luck, and hopefully I'll get to test one of those out.
I hope so. Thanks, Rich.